Hey again, everybody, and welcome to another episode here of the Wish You Were Beer Show. If you're unfamiliar with us, this is a weekly beer review show that we do every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here through YouTube as well as through Facebook and Twitter. So make sure you join us every week. If you find that you like hanging out with us, make sure that you share it with your friends as well who you think might also like beer and hanging out with us.
Or just, they're bored.
Or just bored. Yeah, that happens pretty often.
Views are views, man. I'm not going to turn them down.
Views are views. If they're bored or interested, it doesn't matter.
Give us a thumbs down. Keep us humble.
Give us a thumbs down. It's the new middle finger emoji. But also down at the bottom of the page, you can see all of our Instagrams, social media, Twitter, TikTok, X.
Oh, we got to change that.
Yeah, true story.
Is that like official?
I don't know.
Or is he just
It's Elon. It could change next week.
Okay. Yeah. So. I noticed it and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
I was like, this makes sense.
Makes sense.
And then apparently,
everything we like about the world.
Zuckerberg apparently owns like any X-related things relating to social media. So like there's a whole lawsuit.
There's already like 3 lawsuits. There's a band suing him because they also have that symbol. I'm like, it's a fucking letter. You can't win with that one, bro. But make sure you follow along with us everywhere you can find us. So go down to the About section. You can find everything that we normally do. Make sure you swing by our website, wishyouwerebeershow.com. We do have a great merch store with a lot of different options and shirts in there. In fact, I think Phil actually made another shirt for our AleSmith episode.
It's been a while and I was feeling inspired. So here's the latest shirt. If you get this reference, you've been here a while. If you have not been here for a while, this is going to make 0 sense.
But it's a great shirt either way.
Peter Zine, he hates bees and makes cheese.
If you live in San Diego and frequent
AleSmith Brewing, please purchase this shirt and go in and see if you can get in a fight.
Yes.
Phil is more proud of himself for that shirt, I think, than I am for saying it originally.
I also just think it's a very well done shirt.
It is solid. It is solid.
Yeah.
This is what happens when I take a little break from shirt making. My inspiration came back. I was excited about it.
I love it.
I also was considering making more. I was going to do Team Bees, Team Cheese.
Team Bees, Team Cheese.
Yeah, you gotta. That was gonna be the dual-sided shirt, so you could. It's like Team Cheese, and then it also says likes bees on the back, or I like bees too. But then your friend gets the one that has the hate cheese. Did I say bees?
It's such a stupid shirt.
It is. It's fantastic. I'm on board with it. If you want to see any of our past episodes, you can find a catalog of them on wishyouwerebeershow.com. If you watch the AleSmith show that we had from a couple of weeks ago, that sure will make a lot more sense. But again, visit us on our website. Keep up on our past episodes. Watch us every week, please. But as always, I'm Daniel. This is Tiffany, the Wish You Were a Beer Show, man. There's Phil. We're here every Thursday.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Thursday just keeps coming up. I think the weeks are going by faster because we do this show.
Super cyclical, those weekdays.
I feel like every week I'm like, oh man, how's it already Thursday? Which basically just tells me that I am my grandparents at this point when it comes to time frames of,
True.
Well, when I was young, not that long ago. And then it's, they talk like it was like yesterday and it was
30 years. Yeah.
Gabriel, it has been a while since we have created one of these best moment reels, but you know what? We haven't had a garage open in a while. We haven't had
That's true.
We haven't had a lot of
technical difficulties. Yeah. The dog hasn't barked.
Wait, we haven't done one since Phil and I went off camera. We just had the guy from Wheelie Pop on.
Oh, there's an episode I'd like to forget.
Yeah. However, it lives indefinitely. Sima, we have that one as well. It's in the fridge, but we're gonna stick with a different one this evening, though.
Yeah, I don't know if we could both have an 8.5% beer and survive.
Oh, I could survive
based on the week we've had. So
well, then I guess only one of us is a true beer show person because I'm gonna do the red one first while we're talking since we're gonna
nice
during the show.
Nice.
You know, because why not hit my mouth with a strong fruit beer before we start?
Fucking terrible idea.
Yeah.
But you know, you do you, Phil. We've done this for over a year. You think you would have figured out this?
Yeah, man. I'm drinking a pale mild, which is a 4%,
4.5. Yeah.
4.5% English style ale.
I'm not gonna lie, that's not my favorite color in a beer.
You made this decision.
It sounds like they named it accurately though, so I'm for them doing
Correct,
that.
and it matches the bottle, which is you know, supposed to happen.
True story. True story. So that being said, before we get into all of that, let's quickly go through our beer news story of the week.
Yes.
Which we've been trying to do every week. Just pull something from the beer news headlines, whether it's large scale, small scale, doesn't matter, business, beer, just something that's relevant to the community in general. And Tiffany found a fun story this week that I really enjoyed.
It's like the business side of beer, so I apologize that that's what my life looks like and what I find interesting. But especially following the Anchor Brewing announcement that they're going to be closing down, and just a various number of breweries that we know who have closed down in the past few years. Basically, it is a whole article about how the craft beer industry boomed, and now it is such a struggle to be profitable as a brewery because the cost of ingredients is going up and has been for about 2 years. But the prices of beers are relatively still the same, like if you think of it that way. Also, depending on what your costs are for renting or, canning lines, all that sort of stuff, rent. So all these different factors that come into play when, and how you're selling your beer. It was a whole article basically about breweries that had shut down and things they wish they would have known.
Yeah, and it was really interesting because this guy who wrote the article, he used to own a brewery that he eventually had to let go of as well. And so it was a lot of firsthand experience and also just a lot of business smarts throughout the entirety of it. But one of the things I found really interesting was when you talk to any brewery, especially on a smaller scale, every brewer wants to make a beer that they're excited about, that's fun, that they would drink. And that was 100% one of his bullet points is stop making beer that doesn't sell.
Right.
Make beer that sells.
Right. Like, I don't care how good it, is and, how many of your friends like to drink it. If it's not the one that's flying off the shelves, you probably shouldn't be making that much of it. And basically saying that, save that for your garage brewing. Don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting because the beer world, as we've talked to a lot of brewers, a lot of them start because they just love making it and it's fun, and it is an art form in a sense. It's like telling a chef we'll just make 3 things and that's all you get to do now. But if that chef has created this incredible menu where you go to that restaurant to eat that menu and then all of a sudden there's all this other random stuff getting thrown in there, I came just to have the one thing that you're super well known for. I'm not gonna go off the menu if I have to pay all this for this.
Yeah, and that's always tricky.
So I find that super interesting that he kind of took the fun out of it and went, look, at the end of the day, you're a business.
Yeah,
you got to make money or you don't continue to get to do what you want to do.
Right.
But I think a lot of brewers feel like sellouts if they're not constantly creating something fresh and different and new. And so it is a weird thing because you start doing it for a reason, but then literally you might lose that reason completely if you don't do a little selling out.
It's a tricky animal, man.
Yeah.
Which in business, I can't ever fault somebody for selling out to make more money.
Right.
Good job. That's business.
But also, if you make more money, then you can maybe have those kind of one-offs that you can have some fun with.
Yep.
So it's always keeping at least something there that's going to make it fun. And for people, he talks a lot of about making sure your brewery is also the place to be. Because
the local pub is basically what he's like, you got to make it that. You got to make it where everyone wants to go. Don't make it what you want. Make it what the locale wants.
Yep.
Yeah, and we've definitely talked on the past about the craft brew world that just took off like crazy. I mean, the show is basically based off of this idea that there's a million beers. We could do the show for years and never do the same one twice.
Right.
And I think we are gonna really start seeing that downfall now, which is expected. It had its highs and now it's gonna start coming down. And
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
everybody's going to wade through it.
I don't even
you'll
know
see
if
who
we've
comes out.
reached the peak yet, though. I think there's still just enough people that want to get into the craft beer industry.
Yeah.
That like we're gonna continue seeing kind of like the startups and failures kind of across the board.
Sure.
But I honestly I think we probably still have at least a couple more years of like a boom in the craft beer industry. And I'm saying this because I'd be really disappointed if it happened
I'm
today.
speaking it into existence.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am putting this out into the universe because I really like beer and I enjoy the craft beer industry and kind of everything that it brings together.
Sure.
As far as people and hobbies and
And
animals, lots of dogs.
Lots of dogs.
So besides all that, I do have to bring this comment in that because I enjoy Simo so much.
Drinking of delirium out of a traditional pint pot. That's
I do.
true.
I live on an island in the Caribbean. My glassware is not.
Simo, we've discussed this on past episodes. It's amazing he has a cup that's even rated for beer because
Valid.
when he first got down there, it was like dinner glass, wine glass, like whatever will hold liquid.
A bat.
A bat.
And the bat I had to ship in.
Can't take that thing on a plane. It's too dangerous.
No.
All right, so we're gonna try to keep some of these stories posted throughout some of our blogs, our webpage as well. So that way, if you're interested, you can go find and source that out and read it. Most of them that we pick for the show are typically going to be pretty short reads that just have a lot of quick information to try to make it a little bit easier for the average person who's maybe not in the industry or doesn't understand the industry in some degree. Most of them are pretty easy, light reads that give you a little bit of light into things.
Yeah. So today's is from Brewbound, which is actually a phenomenal website. If you are interested in the beer news or just industry in general, like that website's fantastic.
And they didn't
this
pay
is
us to say that.
sponsored by Brewbound.
Yeah, I was going to say, they didn't pay us to say that.
No, this is just me telling you that.
But they fucking could.
Yeah.
Brewbound.
No.
Yeah. Just keep saying it'll eventually pop up on their Google alerts.
Correct. That's the goal.
We'll tag him on this episode.
Well, cool. Well, let's talk about what beer we're doing tonight because, I mean, it's a pretty relevant beer and pretty easy for most folks to find. Tonight, we've got a couple of different beers from this brewery, but we are going to focus on the Delirium Tremens, which is pretty recognizable to most folks, either in the bottle that Phil has or in the can here that we have. They do distribute out of Maryland here in the States, but they are in Belgium. So this is a pretty common beer. I'm excited to get into some of the details of it. And I've had the beer and it's been a long, long time ago. So I'm excited to try it again.
I used to drink a lot of these because it was one of the like cooler craft beers that we could find in the area. And it was interesting after the first time because the first time I did not realize it was an 8.5 or what that really meant because I was like, I drink wine, it's fine. It became less of a standard, but it's still a pretty fantastic beer.
So I did look up how to say this, and that is the original pronunciation that they gave me. And they also said Tremens is also another acceptable, but not necessarily the first. So I went with acceptable because it was easier for me to say consistently without fucking up, especially after I keep drinking.
Yeah. And I've definitely had this beer before, but that's only because I bought it for the pink elephant.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I was like, oh, pink elephant. Let me buy it.
I love it. Well, Phil, luckily you traveled both to the Belgian variation and also their location in Maryland. So I'm excited to see kind of both of them and you in every picture. And
yeah. And I still live in picture form, no videos. I'm not. I don't have time for that. Let's take a look.
Let's take a peek. Be a lot cooler if they were in Luxembourg, though. I don't know why. I love when we deal with some of these really large scale breweries like this that are large scale distribution. Anytime you see any of their tanks, it's always like, oh yeah, it's like 3-4 stories. That makes good sense.
So that's how the Budweiser plant is out here that we
yeah.
Couldn't take any photos while we were there, but it was some multiple storied based on where you were brewing and where it actually was.
Yeah, just crazy.
Anyway,
basically comparable beers.
Yeah, well, you think about it, yeah. They've been around almost the same amount of time.
And they taste almost identical.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
Yeah. Budweiser, just true Belgian beer.
Blind taste test, I don't think you can tell them apart, to be honest with you.
I will say they do actually use the wood chips.
The beechwood chips.
Beechwood chips. Yeah.
This tastes like a Bud Light seltzer.
It looks like coffee fell into your Bud Light seltzer. I can't place
what or like a smoothie melted into your Bud Light.
Right, a smoothie melted.
I am going to say that this is fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. I didn't expect to like it this much.
All of these are so good.
Like, is it really sweet or is it? Yeah.
It's very like cherry, like it's very fruity, very sweet, but not to the point where it like kills your tongue.
Yep.
That's kind of the issue I have with some of these fruit beers.
Yeah.
It's just really nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fucking happy for you.
Thank you. All right, the second one I'm going to be doing just great.
I love it. I'm
going to buy 6 of these shirts at the end of this episode.
All different sizes.
And just throw them to everyone.
I love it. All right.
Marketing.
Well, let's get into what we are supposed to be doing at this given point in the show. Has nothing to do with bees. Potentially. We don't know what the questions are. Could be. Potentially.
History
and facts. Yeah. All right, so this is the portion of the show where we're going to do a little bit of trivia. So if you're logged in through Facebook or YouTube, you can comment along, give us your answers. There's also the poll on YouTube where you can follow along there as well with your answers. So tonight, again, we're talking about Delirium Tremens. Oh, Veros.
Trahimans, I believe it's correct.
Yes, correct.
Or Trahimans, I believe.
You said what now?
Trahimans.
Yes.
It's a weird character on He-Man.
He carried a sword, but it was not in the right place.
Nope. You and I watched the same thing.
Yes, we did. All right. So that being said, let's play a little bit of trivia. Make sure you give us your answers in the comment section as we go along.
All right. Question 1.
Vero, you're not allowed to answer this because I know you know it. What does delirium tremens actually mean? Is it A, alcohol withdrawal, B, 3 types of yeast, C, pink elephant, or D, hallucinogenic dreams?
Ooh. This is a tricky one because I do know that this pink elephant is like a hallucinating like type thing. So that makes me want to choose the big old D.
I'm 100% discriminating against you, Vero, on this question because I know you know it.
I'm gonna go with A though. I think they had some fun with this one.
Yeah.
It is A. It is also brewed with 3 types of yeast, though.
We're gonna get into that later. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's in the YouTube poll. It is split between A, B, and D. No one wants C.
Yeah. So these are all. It's a tricky question a little bit, but the answer is definitely A. So delirium tremens is actually basically a form of alcohol withdrawal that you can go through. But yes, D is a result of the A. A pink elephant could be a result of A as well. And 3 types of yeast are used in this beer. So they're all
could fix A if combined
correct.
In beer.
So they're all kind of correct, but it is actually a medical term. Most of your doctors are familiar with it. If you're familiar with Amy Winehouse, she actually passed away from a version of withdrawal that got extremely like over the top.
Well, that is the delirium tremens is can result in death. Like
correct. It can go that direction. It doesn't always.
Yeah,
but.
if it's that extreme. And
Correct.
I think it happens, like 3 or 4 days after?
4 days. They say typically 4 days after your last drink, if you're going to go through that withdrawal process to that level.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
It's similar to the word tremors, like when you get the tremors when you're...
I feel like that is a good way for us to figure out language. I'm very much the same way. But yes, I thought it was interesting though, because the beer was actually named from a tax collector who didn't realize that this beer was like 8.5%. And he mentioned that he would potentially go into Delirium Tremens if he had another one of them.
Was this Tiffany when she started drinking these?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
That was me and my first.
Not a tax collector.
No.
We avoid those at all costs.
No, I'm just paying them to someone who else is collecting them.
So I thought that one was fun because like a tax person basically was like, man, I'm gonna get fucked up if I have another one of these. Go into withdrawal. And they're like, I like that name. We're gonna.
What crazy thing to name your beer after? Like, I mean, I get it, but
bold move, Cotton.
It is a bold move, but
we'll see if it pays off.
It clearly has.
They're doing okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're no Budweiser, but they're doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. Trembling madness.
All right, we ready for question 2?
I was born ready. I'm not going to drag that comment. Actually, I'm going to drag it in. I dig this. Fun fact, Amy Winehouse is 12 years sober.
Jeez.
That is accurate, my friend.
That is terrible.
Phil, that's the same question we just had.
And what?
You're not even through your first 8.5%.
I know. Beer. Wait till the end of this.
Yeah. All right. So, true or false? In 1997, Delirium Tremens won gold at the Chicago World Beer Championships.
Seems like a dumb thing to put as a false, so I'm going true.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's maybe silver, but Daniel doesn't tend to do those trickery ones.
Yeah,
so I'm just going.
It was 98.
Katie just feels sad. Oh, she feels sad for. Oh no, that's probably about Amy Winehouse. Okay.
No, it's because they won silver, so she's sad about it. They're like, oh, should have won gold.
Fair. All right, so what are y'all saying?
Everyone else says false on here. We got everyone in the comments is saying false. So they don't believe.
I think we read different comments.
Yeah, I think there's actually 3 trues.
The's comments, but the poll. I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because you said comments, not poll.
Yeah, true story.
You know what I mean. I'm in the comments section, which has the poll in it.
Hate to Belgium you on this one, but sprechen Sie the right Deutsch, my friend. Language. Some of us just get it. All right, so what do you say, Phil?
Oh, I said true already.
Yeah, me too. Because I said it'd be a dumb thing to have it be false.
This is false. So they were nominated for this award in 1997, but the actual event took place in 1998. So, but they did win a gold medal.
So I called it.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Even when I tried to bullshit you, you knew exactly what I was thinking, which is fun.
Well, I was wrong anyway. So
that's fair. But yeah, so they did win a gold medal at the Chicago Beer World Championships all the way back in 97 with this beer. It's still being made pretty continuously the exact same way, which is kind of fun to have a beer that well renowned for that many years, still being made in basically the exact same iteration. Not a whole lot of changes to it, not a lot of differences. I mean, obviously it's yeast. You're going to have a few differences here or there, but I think they got it dialed in 97 and they've been going with it ever since, which is pretty interesting.
I don't know how they do it.
I tell you how they brew it. It's not fucking rocket science, Phil. It's a beer show. All right. So we're going to go ahead and crack this beer open so that we can have some more of the beer. Well, no, you had a different beer. Yeah, you're cracking this one for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to crack this open so that we can try it throughout the rest of trivia so we can get a full round picture of it before we do our review on it. And again, tonight we are doing Delirium Tremens. It's out of Belgium. I think ours came out of Maryland, but
mine actually came from Belgium.
I know. I dig that.
Yeah, be jealous.
I'm super jealous.
I'm gonna really piss off Simo if he's still here right now. Because watch this. Because I forgot to bring in a second glass.
Oh God! So you just dumped it? You're gonna pour that in there?
No, I have a second glass here that was just sitting on this table.
Ugh.
Here you go. So, really gonna piss you off with this one.
Gross.
It's just going in a water glass.
Yeah, but if you noticed, Tiffany and I, ours came in a can. Phil's is actually in a ceramic bottle, which is really cool. So yeah, they do use bottles that are made from the Cologne.
No.
I'm just kidding.
It's Cologne.
Thank you, Phil. Ceramic, which I don't know what kind of bottle that is, but seems pretty cool.
Sarah Mike.
I will say, I think you don't see a beer in this kind of bottle really ever.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool.
It does throw me off because I do remember when I used to see these a lot, I just kind of assumed the beer was a little like thicker for some reason. Like there's like a weird.
It almost looks like there's a White Russian in there,
Or-
not a beer.
Yeah.
Or just that like it's an ugly colored beer, and so they don't want it to be even like remotely like seeable.
Yep.
But it's a pretty beer.
No, so originally when they first started making the beer, they got ceramic bottles by accident, and they had them left over, and they just decided to run with it. And so it's stayed within that vein ever since they've been making it, which is
Because they had bought out some like old brewery,
Yep.
and it just had bottles sitting in the back, and they were like, "Well, let's just use those."
Yeah, correct. When they bought, well, I think when they were bought out, when the original brewery was bought out by the not current, but you know, the second iteration of the brewery, they found all these bottles and were like, we should use these. They're free.
Yeah. Why not? And as we learned earlier, it's hard to run a brewery. Things cost money.
True story.
Makes sense.
All right, let's get into question number, I think 3. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, how many countries is Delirium currently distributed in? Not just this beer, but the Delirium brand, because they make several different versions of it, which we'll talk in a minute. Is it 40, 60, 80, or 100?
I'm going with 80. Seems like a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually going. That's right where I was sitting on this one too.
I was between 60 and 80 because that's like 100 just seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't even name 100 countries. I'm sure there are that many. I know there's like 200 something. But anyway, I was like, I don't even know.
So you guys are going 80?
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's going to come as a shock to y'all, but Vero is correct.
Oh, shock.
Yeah, and so that was a poll, or that was a number pulled from a year and a half ago even.
Oh,
so they are in likely over 100 countries at this point with some variation of the Delirium brand. Which is kind of crazy because when you go, basically, when you think about it being in 100 different countries, when you're traveling, you can find this beer at a bar somewhere, almost anywhere that you would normally go, which is nuts. Because I think about that with like an AB beer here in the United States, I can find a Bud or a Bud Light or a Miller Light, pretty much any bar I go to.
Yeah.
But this is like the worldwide version of that. You can find it almost anywhere you're going to go.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I feel like I've seen that pink elephant everywhere I've gone. So
almost, and their branding is really good with it because of the bottle variation and because of how kind of top shelf that seems at a bar when you're having a craft beer. A lot of people will order it. A lot of people have it.
It seems fancy.
Yep, exactly.
It's like when we were at the Mexican restaurant a few weeks back. They always have like this. My mom actually loves this bottle, and this is exactly why I know this is a thing. It's this bottle that has like a bell or whatever on top, and it's like this ceramic, like beautiful, like hand painted. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Does it have a fish on it?
Nope. It's just like white with blue
Two
geometric patterns and like floral patterns. And I have no idea what it is, but it's always on the top. And Mom has like a couple of them, and she was like, they were empty and they were just giving them away.
It looks familiar.
Yeah, tequila.
Yes, they're tequila. Yes.
Yeah, we have no idea what they are, like what brand it is. Well, maybe my mom does. I have no idea.
Kind of a fun fact about that pink elephant, which I just checked.
Oh, yeah.
Where is this art student now who's just sitting there going,
who should be getting royalties in perpetuity, and instead he's like, I drank 2 cases of that beer in fucking 1 week.
Like, I really hope that
Delirium mints.
Yeah, right.
I hope they fix this. Like,
I'm sure he or she has been compensated just fine at this point.
I didn't read anything that said otherwise. So They drank 2 cases in one night, and they've gone down in fame.
Oh, I love it.
How all artists should go.
True story.
Amy Winehouse.
Get a job.
But 12 years sober.
12 years
God.
sober. God, it's the worst.
So terrible.
Also a great shirt. All right. Let's get into the fourth question. I believe is the last question. I don't think I put
It
five.
is the last one.
No, next one.
Just,
Oh, jeez.
That's twice for you tonight,
This
man.
is one of those- this is one of
Delirium
those
beer,
episodes.
you're fucked up.
One of those episodes.
All right, true or false? Delirium Treeman's final fermentation actually occurs in the container.
Oh, interesting.
mm,
Also, it seems like a weird question if it's not true. Because then you just kind of made this question up.
I make a lot of shit up every week that I delete, and then I go, no, that's too stupid.
Daniel's
Yeah.
very creative.
He's, some would say, an artist, but never quite made it.
Everyone on YouTube says true. I'm gonna stick with the fans here on this one and go true as well.
Pokemon style.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty
You gotta
common
catch 'em all.
for people to have beers that finish fermentation in the bottle or the container.
Correct.
Oh my god, the can is moving.
I know. Sorry, we have our ceiling fan on, and the empty can that we poured out had just moved
It's
on
moving.
the table.
What is
multiple
happening?
times.
Oh my god, I'm
Like we
hallucinating.
both of us saw it out of the corner of our eye. We're like, "Fuck! I barely even had this beer. I'm fucked up." All right. So
Sure, let's go with true, and that's why
Yes.
it's extra potent.
yes, no. So it's not about the potency of the beer, but yes, it does. The final stage of fermentation happens in the container. And Kevin, of course, it's the yeast. So again, they do use 3 different types of yeast in this, recipe for this beer. Other than using 3 types of yeast, this is an extremely basic beer. It's made pretty pure. I mean, malt, water, hops, whatever. But the 3 different types of yeast is kind of the kicker on this beer, which is why if you look on the label, Phil, yours came from Belgium, so I'm not sure how it's going to be spelled out on there.
Oh, it doesn't say anything in English.
Oh, okay. So they give you very specific temperature ranges that you should keep this beer and enjoy this beer at. Some of that is because of the continual fermentation process.
I'm gonna assume that's the part that says Birja Belga Dopen Malto.
Whoa, you gotta be careful just throwing out fake languages online.
So ours is in Fahrenheit, so
What
yours
the
would be
heck?
in Celsius.
Yeah.
Once
But
you've
it
had
gives you a really specific
Belgium.
serving temperature.
Yours is gonna be like 1 to 3 degrees Celsius, give or take.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. Some would say history and facts.
Yeah.
No, don't.
Actually,
That is so close.
I saw your arm move. I was like, we don't need to play that video again. I love it. Before we get into talking about this beer, which is coming up here shortly, can you play the clip of how to pronounce the actual name of the brewery?
I will.
Because again, Delirium is the brand of this beer and like the line of this beer. It's not the brewery that actually produces it, and I have no fucking clue how to say it.
These were the people that I met while I was there, and I was asking. So I'm filming this, and I asked them how to pronounce it.
Fair.
Hey everybody, you know where we are going this year on our new itinerary for the Amsterdam to Brew Strip. We are going to Delirium. The real name of the brewery, I'm going to try to pronounce it. Huyghe. Yeah!
Huyghe!
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 Do you have
Okay.
any idea?
yeah.
That's nowhere near where I would have landed, so I'm glad we played that video.
Yeah, Huyghe.
Yeah,
I nailed it.
yeah, killed it.
It's like not even on this can.
Killed
Yeah.
it.
Oh no, it's right here.
Yeah,
Right
it's
here.
all the way down at
It's
the
at the
bottom.
bottom.
That's less important than the brand. You'll recognize the brand more than that brewery. So if it was all about the brewery, it'd be like, I have no
That's
idea. who that is.
that's like the dude's last name or first name or something, wasn't it? Like the guy who.
It's
founded
the
it?
last name.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then another quick little fun fact about this brewery,
Yeah.
because we always enjoy focusing on this stuff. They do a limited edition release brewed by women once a year to commemorate International Women's Day, which is always killer when breweries do this sort of stuff.
Yeah, especially at that scale.
Yeah.
Because, your local brewery doing it down the street, fantastic. I love it. But somebody who's working on that scale of a brewery to take tank space and to take beer space and to spend that time doing it for a cause like that, that's an astronomical movement versus we care about it, if that makes sense.
Agreed.
Well, how many of those countries that they distribute it to does this one go to?
Well, I mean, there's certain countries you serve it to who can't drink it if they're women. So, I mean, it probably doesn't go there. I don't make rules.
Let's review this beer.
Yep.
I guess it's as good a time as it. All right. So this is the portion of the show where we're actually going to review the beer. Tonight we are doing Delirium Tremens, which is...
Oh, sorry. Let me pull up the can.
It's Tremens.
From Huyghe Brewery. Was I close?
Huyghe.
So this is a beer out of Belgium. It is distributed heavily in the United States through Maryland as well. Served in over 100 countries. Let's see what our dumbasses think about it. We review these beers through Untapped, which is
everyone's
a social
favorite
drinking app, which is 1 to 5 bottle caps, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. So follow us on Untapped, follow the show Untapped. You can follow all the catalogs of beers we've had that way as well if you don't feel like going to our website and buying a hates bees, makes cheese shirt. Doesn't matter. Really pushing this shirt tonight.
If this doesn't get a sale tonight, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first time we've made a shirt in a while. I feel like we really need to.
That's the one that's going to take off if any of them.
Yeah.
Play this one up.
All right.
Or get a cease and desist. Either one.
100%. Yeah. AleSmith is pretty large, so we'll see what happens. Phil, I'm interested to hear what you think about this beer because you did have a fruited beer on the front end of this, at least from the same brewery. But this is also a style I don't know how familiar you are with. So,
yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So this is Belgian beers in general are beers. I'm not a big fan of Belgian beers. They all just have a very bizarre taste to me. So they're not like ones I cater to very often.
Sure.
I have been getting into them more often though, because there's this Dutch bar here that carries so many Belgian beers. Is that where I got these? Because I couldn't find them in stores here. I had to go to this bar, and then just what you were saying, Tiffany. I had to go to because you were talking about this beer that was off the air, but we were talking about how you can get a beer, don't open it, let me bring it home. They do that there.
Yeah.
And so they had these too, and so. Normally for me, Belgian beers are not my favorite. I like this one though.
Yeah.
I think a lot like how we have always talked about how mass-produced beers have to be enjoyed by the masses. So I think this maybe takes a little away of what that Belgian flavoring that I kind of don't like, and it subdues it a little bit.
Sure.
But it's as you can clearly tell, it's a strong beer. I mean, I've had 2 of these. It literally says strong beer on the bottle. It's no joke. And so I really, really like this beer. And I think it's so well done. I think it's so easy to drink. The fruited one was also delightful. I'm going 4.5 on this one. I just think it's a great beer. It's really good.
I'm okay with this.
So that's my take.
I love it. And yeah, Vero's correct. It's not boozy.
It creeps up on you.
100% go well with schnitzels and sausages and mustard. Fucking A right. Yeah. That's most of those Belgian flavor profiles are that way for a reason because they do go well with that. But yeah, Vero also says 4.5. Solid.
Wait, what did Phil rate it?
4.5. Yeah.
Yeah. I freaking dig this beer. We've been doing craft beer for so long that this beer is something that, Daniel and I have had forever ago at this point and have never really gone back to because there's so many other beers to grab.
Right.
I love Belgian beers and I don't know why you don't like them, which is why we don't buy them very often because they'll just sit in the fridge and I'll forget to drink them. But this is delicious and it reminded me that I need to probably grab them more often.
Sure.
Because who knows, maybe they'll be like Anchor Brewing and just disappoint me.
Oh my God. I think Anchor Brewing didn't disappoint you.
No, it
Quickly
was,
speaking of Anchor Brewing, did I tell you all that I found the Anchor Brewing porter in a grocery store here?
Yeah.
And guess what?
You better buy all of them.
It was dusty, like I said. Remember I said they're dusty? So I bought them. They're super expensive here, but I bought them.
And this is true too.
Yeah.
It's classic, but I rarely pick it up nowadays.
Yeah.
But when I do, I'm always like, oh yeah,
and
fuck.
it's so freaking good. That is exactly like what I'm going through right now. Of man, like this is reminding me so much of just getting wasted with a couple girlfriends of mine.
Whoa. Oh, okay.
Like just hanging
I
out.
don't know where that was going. That's all. All right.
That's
So
not
which-
our getting away from
No, I freaking dig this beer. And again, I love Belgians. I'm gonna give it 4.75 because it is like a tried and true classic for me, and
Perfect.
it has never disappointed. Minus the hangover. I'm sure that I'll
100%. Yeah.
Also, what did I just do to my
No, yeah, this is it's a really
Whatever.
good Belgian beer. You know, Tiffany says I don't historically like Belgians. There's certain variations of Belgians I don't like. You know, a triple or a strong ale is not necessarily in that same vein because a lot of times I get some of the booziness out of those beers, which takes away from some of the other things I don't like about them. This one is nice in the middle, high ABV, 8.5%. It's fantastic. The beer is extremely smooth.
Yeah.
Like Vero said, to be an 8.5%, you don't notice it at all. Flavor's really good. Color's really pretty. I like this beer. I gave it a 4.25 originally on Untapped. I think I'm sticking with it, which is not a bad score. I think it's extremely drinkable, but it's not consistently in my fridge. So I feel like if I go over 4.25, I'm doing myself a disservice.
But are any-
obviously doing ourselves a disservice by not having this in the fridge all the time.
Not at
Well,
8.5.
any Belgian beers consistently in your fridge. I guess that's the.
There, it's all your like weird farmhouses and saisons.
Yeah.
A lot of
We
those
have a
are in
lot
the
of-
Belgian world as well, but
Yeah. We have also like our fridge is always packed with like weird stouts and porters and things that are just really heavy, like double, triple IPAs because it's just we get them and then we can't drink
then
them.
I forget about them.
Well, it's just that's a one and done.
Yeah, true story. All right, so I know we have some Untaps. I'm sure they're all probably great because how well distroed this beer is.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a couple of minutes left on the show here. I think we bypass Untapped, and I'd like to know what you guys really wished was beer from this week because we haven't done that in a long time, and
Why
no
would you
one's
spring
prepared.
this on
No
me?
You can't just spring this on. We got 2 minutes left of the show, and you spring
That's
this
right.
on us?
Quick, we gotta make it quick.
I wish flying was beer. So I woke up yesterday at 1:40 a.m. Was out the door by 3 at the airport and through the gate by 4:40-ish, 4:20. Then they changed the flight on me, and so I had to go to the desk to ask them to fix it. Anyway, it was a whole debacle, but I got home at like 7 p.m. I wish that was beer. Beer is better.
You would have caught why she wished that was beer if you didn't interrupt with the slide because she tied it all together right in the middle.
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah,
Best one
all
she's
made
ever done.
sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Phil, go.
I wish getting
An erection was beer.
yeah,
How did you know mine?
there it is. Thank you for finishing it.
That'll be a
You know what?
first.
I can easily get beer. Daniel, you're up.
That may be the best wish you were beer ever. That wish an erection was beer because I can easily get a beer.
They make Viagra, man.
God, that's
Send you
gold.
some.
I wish mosquitoes were beer. I haven't done a lot to my backyard this year on purpose because I'm playing around with some things. But if mosquitoes were beer and I walked out into my backyard, I'd have like 100+ beers waiting for me. So just
Also, same.
the god of beers.
I got you, man.
Oh man, it had nothing to do with Gabriel's wife.
That's true. That's true.
He never said what was causing.
We
the
haven't done it in a
anxiety.
while. He wasn't prepared.
Yeah, he wasn't prepared, just like us.
He had anxiety about answering.
All right. that being said, we're going to wrap it up this evening. We do have a show next week. Make sure you keep up with us because we'll be putting the promo out for that so you can see what beer we're going to be having next week as well. Please follow along with us, play along with us every week as we do this show. Follow our social medias. Please visit the website. Go to wishyourebeershow.com. Check out the merch, hang out. Yes, correct. Let's get one last plug for Hates Bees, Makes Cheese.
I'm buying this shirt.
I love it. But thank you as always for everyone for stopping by for this show week to week. We really appreciate everybody tuning in with us and having a beer with us. It's the only reason that we keep doing this other than to hang out with each other. So make sure you follow along, like, subscribe, all that dumb shit that everybody always says. But more importantly, let's have a beer together every week.
Yeah.
See
See you next week.
Yeah.